up, you guys? This is Rob from A Gay Guy Plays, and today in a flash, we will be taking a look at the 4 new augments, the new armor set, the new syandana, as well as all of the additional little bits and bobs that came with update 20.2. So jumping straight into the augments, we've got Nezha's Pyroclastic Flow, which is available from CEPHALON SUDA, and Steel Meridian for 25,000 standing. This one causes Firewalker to accumulate 150% of the damage Firewalker deals, unleashing it in a trail of fire that lasts 10 seconds. Alright, now for all of these augments, as you guys know, we're going to do standalone episodes on these, but I kind of wanted to give you a bit of an overview. Now, with the Pyroclastic Flow, this one is actually pretty freaking crazy. I'm super fond of this at this very moment, but as you can see, this actually scales with the amount of damage Firewalker is doing. So up in the top corner where your buffs are, you see this number counter, very similar to Equinox's Mend and Maim. So as it kind of levels up, it kind of stores up this amount of damage. So as you can see, we're at 10k damage right now. I'm going to deactivate the ability, and I kick it off, and I'm doing 11k points of damage a second for 10 seconds to this thing. That is absolutely insane. I'm definitely going to have to play around with the build on that one. Now, I actually wanted to go ahead and give you a little bit of a better visual on the effect of Pyroclastic Flow, because as you can see here, it actually creates a bit of an energy line. He kicks it forward and creates a beam that's about, I want to say like 15 meters long, maybe even 20 meters. Do note that it does not scale with power range, however it does scale with power duration, so definitely keep that in mind. Next up, we've got Titania's Beguiling Lantern, which is available from New Loka and Red Veil for 25,000 standing. This one causes attracted enemies to take 100% more melee damage. Alright, so the Lantern one is pretty simple. This one basically gives you bonus melee damage against anything that is beguiled by her lantern. Just keep in mind that this is affected by power strength, including negative power strength. So for all of you overextended fans out there, just be very wary that this is affected by that. Moving along, we've got Inaros Negation Swarm, which is available from the parent sequence, as well as the Arbiters of Hexus for 25,000 standing. Scarab Armor now protects Inaros from status effects, consuming 3% of bonus armor for each effect resisted. Now, Negation Swarm is pretty simple. Basically, anytime that you would take a status effect, you lose 3% of your bonus armor. But as you can tell here, I'm actually running a full efficiency build, and it does not seem to be affected by efficiency or power strength in any way, shape, or form. It's just a flat 3%, at least from what I have tested so far. I will get back to you if I find anything different. And last but not least is Ivara's Piercing Navigator, which is available from the parent sequence as well as CEPHALON SUDA for 25,000 standing. Piercing Navigator's hit increases the projectile's crit chance by 10% up to a max of 50%. Alright, and as always, Navigator is shit tons of fun. However, the one thing that I do want to point out with this augment is that regardless of how much power strength you actually put on it, it is still going to be capped at that 50% critical chance, which to be honest is fairly fair due to the fact that Navigator's already got that damage multiplier attached to it with all of the targets that you hit. So, I mean, it would be a little bit overkill if you were getting, like, red crits off of this thing somehow. And let's face it, with all of the mechanics in game, I'm sure that we could possibly find a way to make that happen still. So, you know, fair is fair. It caps out at 50. That's kind of just what it is. Alright, now for all of you fashion framers out there, we have a new armor set as well as a new syandana. Now, the Avia armor set is something I'm going to throw my name behind ASAP. Love it, love it, love it so far. I think it looks absolutely fantastic, and it's only 100 plat in the market, so definitely check that one out. Then we also have the, I believe it's the Centuria syandana, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't hate it. I don't hate it as much as some of the syandanas that they have put out recently, but for me, what really makes me embittered and angry about this is how close they were. How freaking close they were. Still think it looks great. I'm going to leave it up to you guys to see how you guys feel about it. It is 70 plat in the market, but we'll take a closer look in a second. Alright, so Avia armor set straight out of the gate. Take a fucking look at this. Look at those ankle pieces. Look at the chest piece. It is perfect. It is not like I was saying in my previous video about like armor sets not necessarily taking over the frame. This is just the right amount of embellishment. As you can see, it adds some nice metallics in there. It's actually kind of got like a little two-tone. It's got some matte portions in there and a nice little chest piece. Unfortunately, I did have to take the sigil off of Octavia on this one because it was almost kind of like overlaying onto the chest piece, but I think it's still very nice. I might actually rock this look without the chest piece, but I still think that's a fantastic look. I'm really excited about it. I really like it. Now let's jump into the Syandana. Alright, now as you can see we have swapped frames, and that's because I did want to do the Syandana justice. I think it's actually absolutely gorgeous. I love its attachment points at the shoulders. I love, you know, kind of like the ribbing on it, the little plating that they've got going on. I love the 3 layers. However, the number one thing that just drives me absolutely crazy is DE's attachment to this thick, floppy, like ridiculous, texture. I'm not a fan of it whatsoever. It looks like thick leather, but it also looks like kind of like weird plastic. It kind of just flops around like a tongue. Every time I look at it, all I can think of is it looks like a tongue, DE, stop making tongue things. But the pattern on it, I think, is absolutely fantastic. I love the metal details on it. I think overall it's great, except for the fact that I can't get over the actual texture of the Syandana itself. Another thing that I'm not the fondest of necessarily is the fact that this comes off as like a 3-layered Syandana, but they do not move independently from each other. So part of me is almost kind of like, well, really, you could have just knocked it down to 1 layer and kind of like created lots of folds in there, kind of like a lot of ruching and like draping effects to make it look like it's got a lot more going than it is. But in its current state, it looks like, you know, you've got 3 layers of Syandana that you like stapled together. It's kind of like when you have lasagna noodles, you've been cooking lasagna noodles, and you gotta peel them apart from each other, but before you do, they're that weird thick floppy texture. That's the feeling that I'm getting right now. It was so close to being an absolute like drool worthy item that it nearly killed my soul. I was like, I looked at it, I was like, oh my god, that looks so good. Oh, it's that floppy texture again. No, but I know that there are some of you guys out there that are like, that don't care, that are fine with that texture, that don't mind the like thicker leathery texture, and you guys are into it. Hey, if you love it, I suggest you go and buy it, because it is the closest win in Syandana, in Syandana-ness as DE has had lately. So definitely check that one out, pick it up if you want it. Me personally, I'm gonna play with other things, but I still think that it does look great. And in the last little bit of fashion frame news, the Furus and the Afurus, or Afurus, I'm really not sure how you say it, has finally gotten their PBR update. So anybody who is using the Winds of Purity mod, I believe that's what it's called, from New Loka to kind of heal themselves with their Furus, you should be very happy because it looks absolutely gorgeous. Thank you, Ortis. I really didn't need you to chime in. I got this. Thank you. Butt out. Asshole. Alrighty, so the last thing that I wanted to touch on is actually the user interface changes. They did something absolutely amazing. They gave us some nice new options to kind of fix or change or alter, however you want to perceive it, some of the changes that happened in U20 where they kind of upscaled or downscaled certain things for 4K. So full is kind of like exactly what you're seeing now. It's the standard one. Legacy, as you can see here, is the previous version, so you'll actually see everything kind of pop into place right there. We'll get back into the interface, and then custom lets you kind of play around with the sliders. Let's see if we can make it really tiny. Does that do anything? Oh, that makes it really small. Okay, so now you know, maybe don't do that. But yeah, that's an option for you guys, depending on how you guys want to play with it. But now it is there for you to play around with. We don't need custom. I clearly am not. I should not be allowed to do custom. That is too tiny. But yeah, so that pretty much does it for me. Let me know what you guys think about the new armor set, which I am super jazzed about. Let me know what you think about the user interface options. I actually am really fond of that. Are a lot of you guys going to be changing over? Did you like the newer version, or are you playing around with custom to see kind of how it fits? But I guess, as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch yo body. And also be sure to stick around, because I will be putting out new builds and snapshots for some of the new augments, depending if because there's a couple that I'm like, ooh, we're really gonna have to touch on that. We're gonna have to make a build around that. So stick around, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.